For hours after my father's funeral, my stepmother changed the locks on his house and left my childhood in 14 garbage bags on the lawn, in front of the caterers. What she did not know, because Dad never told her, is that the house had not belonged to him for 6 years. My mother died when I was 9. Dad remarried when I was 15. A woman named Sandra who ran the local charity circuit and understood appearances the way surgeons understand anatomy. To the town she was gracious. To me, in rooms without witnesses, I was a line item from a previous administration. Nothing cinematic, no throne plates. Just a decade of small subtractions. My photos migrating from the hallway to a box in the garage. My bedroom becoming her craft room the week I left for college. My things already bagged when I came home for fall break. A preview I failed to read. Dad saw more than he said. That was his flaw and I inherited it. We were both quiet where it counted. But about money he was not quiet, he was careful. He owned a machining business. A house paid off in 2009. And a lifetime of watching Sandra spend. So 6 years before he died, after the first heart scare, he sat me down in his office with a lawyer on speakerphone and restructured everything. The house went into an irrevocable trust with me as beneficiary, him as lifetime occupant. The business shares same structure. What remained in his own name, the account Sandra could see, was generous to her and finite. His explanation was one sentence long. I love her but I have read her mail. He asked me to keep it private, and I kept it private for 6 years, through Sandra introducing me at his 60th birthday as his son from before. The heart attack that finally took him was fast, and I will always be grateful he did not linger. The funeral was Sandra's production, tasteful, catered, well attended, and I stood at the back of my own father's service because the front pews had been reserved for her family. I noted it. The noting had become a habit by then. We buried him at 1 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, when I drove back to the house to sit in his office and just breathe his air for a while, my key spun in a new deadbolt. The garbage bags were on the lawn, arranged with care, which was somehow worse. Through the glass I could see her brother already measuring the office for what I later learned was a home gym. Sandra came to the window, not the door, and spoke through it. "This is my house now, sweetheart. Take your things." The caterers, still loading their van, stood frozen with their trays, an audience she had not planned for. I loaded 14 bags into my truck without one word, which she took for defeat. It was scheduling. The will reading was that Thursday. Sandra arrived in resort wear, mid-planning a celebration of life in Palm Springs, and brought her brother, presumably to start on the gym after. The lawyer, the same voice from the speakerphone 6 years earlier, read the personal bequests first. The accounts in Dad's name, hers as promised, $240,000, a car, his watch collection. She smiled the smile of a woman confirming a suspicion. Then he reached the trust documents and I watched vocabulary happen to her in real time. Irrevocable. 2019. Beneficiary. Lifetime occupancy terminated by death. The house, the business, the building the business sits in. All of it mine for 6 years already. All of it never having been available to inherit at all. The locks she had changed were on my property. The bags on the lawn had been placed there, legally speaking, by a guest. She said there had been a mistake. The lawyer said there had not. She said Dad would never. The lawyer slid across the letter Dad left in the file, addressed to her, which I never read and never will, but whatever was in it emptied her face on the way through. I gave her 60 days, double the legal requirement, because he loved her and I had read his mail too. She used 59 and left the deadbolt for me as a souvenir. I live there now. My mother's photos are back in the hallway, next to Dad's, next to mine. The craft room is a bedroom again, and on the new key ring, I kept her lock's key. One small brass reminder that the people who move fastest after a funeral are the ones who never knew what the quiet man actually built.